guys, I'm Rachel. Welcome back to my channel here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm coming at you with another bath bomb video today. Haven't made one in a while and thought I would show you how fun, easy, and affordable it is to make your very own bath bombs from home. Now there might be a couple ingredients or supplies you need to source from online, but mostly everything you might have laying around the house already, or you can get at your local grocery store. So that makes it nice and easy. So here's one of my bath bombs. This is Zesty Mint that I would normally make packaged like this for my Etsy shop, but I'm going to show you how you could package them a different way if you wanted to up the fanciness to make them as gifts, such as for Valentine's, birthday, Mother's Day, etc. So I'm going to show you how I make the bath bombs first, and I'll put all the details down below for ingredients and where you can find some of my supplies. And then at the end, I'm going to show you some ideas of how you can add some other things to these to make them super cool looking. So first I measure out all of my dry ingredients, and I already have my baking soda, cornstarch, and Epsom salt in here, so I'm just throwing in the citric acid, and then I'm going to mix them up together, and basically you're just making sure it's well incorporated, no big clumps, and I try to do this slowly to make sure it doesn't kind of powder up into the air because I don't want to breathe it. So I'm going to kind of speed through this for you real quick here. Next, I measure out the wet ingredients, so I use coconut oil, some water, and then a blend of essential oils of my own personal choice, so you can do whatever makes you happy, and you can use a little bit more or less than a tablespoon depending on how strong you like your smell and what might be safe for skin use. Today I'm doing Zesty Mint, which is spearmint and lime mostly, which is one of my absolute favorite blends. Next, time to combine the wet and the dry ingredients really fast here. A chemical reaction is obviously taking place, and you want to save as much of that reaction as you can for the tub, because that's where all the fizz takes place. So you just want to quickly get all of this combined, and it needs to be wet enough that it's going to hold to itself nicely. So you want it kind of like kinetic sand consistency. So I'm just going to mix this up and make sure there's no clumps, and you'll end up needing to use a spray bottle probably 2 or 3 times to add a little bit of extra moisture if it's not quite where you want it. There are a lot of different ways to make bath bombs, a lot of different sizes, a lot of different recipes, and a lot of people say that the humidity level really affects how they turn out. I have found it's a little bit worse with citric essential oils, where they kind of might foam out and try to burst out of the mold. So I cut back on those a tiny bit usually. But overall, with this recipe that I've kind of tweaked over the years with these particular bath bomb molds, I have found it to be pretty good. No real issues, and the humidity level hasn't seemed to be an issue, especially when I disperse it with the spray bottle. So I think we're almost at the consistency that we want. Just a little bit more here. There we go. When you squeeze it, it holds together nicely. So I think now we're ready to get it into the molds. I went ahead and sliced up some key limes into little thin slices, and then I dehydrated those. So that is how I delineate that these are my Zesty Mint bath bombs. So I just put them down in the bottom of one side and then just press in with a soup spoon and get as much of it as I can nice and compact, and then scrape around the edges with the spoon to make sure that it's nice and flush, because the idea here is you want just enough that it's level on both sides and just enough that both sides are going to smash together nicely, so that way it doesn't fall apart when it dries, because a lot of people will complain that they're a little too dry or they fall back in half after they unmold them, but I've hardly ever had a problem with that doing it this way. So once again, filling in both sides and just smashing it down as good as you can. And this half is the half where it's a little bit lower around the side, so you want it to be right along the top. So we'll combine them now. And then all you have to do is leave these to dry for 10 to 12 hours or overnight, and then they'll be nice and rock solid by the next day. I mean, my daughter has even dropped these and they haven't broken. So there they are. I got my Zesty Mint, and I ended up doing some Blissful Bouquet as well. So this is what they're going to look like the next day after you unmold them. Nice and smooth. You might just have to brush off a few crumbs. And then you need to decide how are you going to package these. You can just throw them in a Ziploc bag or a little cardboard box, a little bowl. I would recommend maybe not storing them in your bathroom unless they are somewhat sealed up, and you would probably want to use these within 2 or 3 months. If you're going to give them as gifts, I would recommend investing in these 5x6 shrink wrap bags. These have the round bottom, so they're specifically made for bath bombs. And these seal up really nicely. I just use my heat sealer here to kind of seal off the end of them, and then I blow dry them. And then the fun part comes in where you get to decorate these. Instead of just doing a little label with the ingredients, a few years ago my neighbor had given me a whole bunch of random ribbon and bead scraps and buttons and stuff like that. And so I ended up using hot glue and gluing a string of ribbon around the seam, and then hot gluing on some little buttons, beads, dried flowers, things like that. So here's some of the ideas that I have done in the past. I put them into little disposable muffin boxes, and then I made some little cards with what I wanted to call them and then with the ingredients on the back. And the one I had the most fun with is one that I made for my sister. I put glitter on the inside of them and called it Evil Ursula, but she had to use them all because one of the 4 had a key in it that she needed to open this lockbox that her birthday gift was in. She said there was glitter in her bathroom for weeks after that. That is it. I hope you found this super fun and easy. I can't wait to hear if you guys have any other fun ideas that you've tried or want to try. Please let me know in the comments below. I love to hear from all of you, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. I will see you guys in the next video very soon.